the problem with that is there could have been anything in that Second Amendment to the trust. It could have disinherited people. It could have changed the trustees. It could have changed a whole bunch of things. And we just didn't know. Hi, this is Jeff Mersace, the Plain English Attorney, and I'm going to tell you today why I hate amendments, usually. All right, so when we do revocable living trusts and healthcare powers of attorney and all of these other documents, we are getting our clients the best tools possible to do the job, so we're crafting them exactly the right way, but then occasionally, well, actually, quite frequently, about every 5 to 7 years, our clients have changes they want to make. We are not going to do amendments as a general course. All right, well, why? Well, this is really bringing it back more than a decade ago. I always prefer to simply print out the documents again, just because then everything's in one place. But we had someone come in and we hadn't done this work previously, and it was, look, my father died, he had a trust, and so he came in and it's, here's the trust, here's the First Amendment to the trust, here's the Third Amendment to the trust. Well, where's the Second Amendment to the trust? Oh, I don't know. All right, the problem with that is there could have been anything in that Second Amendment to the trust. It could have disinherited people. It could have changed the trustees. It could have changed a whole bunch of things. And we just didn't know. So I went through, examined, said, look, we really need that Second Amendment to the trust to be absolutely sure. Can you look again? He found it. It was a 2-page amendment, Second Amendment to the trust, and it had a big coffee ring around it where, you see, the person must have put their coffee mug down, it spilled over, and then that got stuck to the bottom of a stock prospectus in the bottom office desk drawer. Okay, so then we were finally able to move ahead. So why would you do these small amendments up to the point where it's the Third Amendment to the trust when you can just print the whole thing out? That's why, in general, for our clients, we're doing an amendment and restatement. So that means, okay, we're going back into the word processing document, making the changes, and then noting this is an amendment and restatement of the previous trust. Here's the date the first one was executed. Here's the date the new one's executed. And now it's the whole thing all at once. I know people would want to try to save paper, but saving time and money and also greatly reducing the risk that you end up with some partial plan with pieces missing down the road, it's just easier to print the whole thing out. So here's, John and Jane Doe's revocable living trust. It's very thick. The chances of someone spilling coffee and having it therefore stuck to the bottom of something else and not being able to find it, that's just not going to happen. The other potential savings is down the road after you're gone, or even if you're updating things. Now, let me explain that. This same client, when he came in, all right, we had the trust. So I had to read through the entire trust. And this was something that kind of had to be done in one sitting because it's like putting together a 3-dimensional puzzle, and it has to be done. If you break out, I got to answer this phone call, I got to work on this other thing, and then I'll come back to it. It's almost like you're losing your train of thought. And then go through the First Amendment to the trust. Okay, what did that change from the original trust? All right. Then get the second amendment to the trust. What did that change from the first amendment to the trust and the trust itself? And then, okay, we have the third amendment to the trust. How does that compare with each, the particular sections, comparing to the second amendment to the trust, comparing it to the first amendment to the trust, comparing it to the trust to try to get to, here's what the trust says and does. That took several hours and it was like putting together a puzzle. On the other hand, if all they had done was do an amendment and restatement and just print it out and sign it again, it only would have been one read through of the document that's necessary, because we don't have to worry about how do all these different things over different amendments match up. With an amendment and restatement, you always look for the very last version of the whole thing. Now, is this to say, oh, we never do amendments, or God forbid, worse, a codicil to a will instead of just printing it out again? No. In terms of codicils, I don't think I've done a codicil for a will. That's basically an amendment to a last will and testament. I haven't done one of those in more than 2 decades, and there's no reason to. With the trust, occasionally we'll do an amendment to the trust, but we really, really try not to do extensive amendments. Usually it's a simple thing. Maybe the only thing being changed in the trust is who's the first, second, and third successor trustees. All right, that's easy enough to interpret. They're going to change it again. All right, look, let's go back and just print the whole thing out again. Or, all right, I just wanted to, instead of just, all right, everything goes equally to my 3 kids, I want to take $20,000 to go to a nephew first. All right, we'll just have that one section. Again, that's easy enough to do, but if it's like, all right, now I want to add this other thing, let's do an amendment and restatement. And one reason why we may do that, it's to save costs for the clients. If we have a printing company that handles that, well, they've got their printing and document charges that they have to charge us for producing those documents, and therefore we have to pass that on to the client, and that's several $100s on top of whatever work we're doing, and it makes the simple stuff almost kind of cost prohibitive. On the other hand, with those document prep companies, if we are doing a whole bunch of changes, well, it's just as affordable as when they put it together, if not more so, because they'll go ahead and redo everything at a then comparatively inexpensive price. So we're redoing everything. But those simple amendment changes, all right, those will do. But for the clients where we did the trust and they're coming back with a change, I'd rather print the whole thing out again as an amendment and restatement, and we just take it from there. It saves so much confusion down the road, and there's much less of a chance of any documents being lost because it's only 1 or 2 pages. All right, so I hope you found that information useful. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so that you know when we're getting this great information out. As always, what I tell all my clients, stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day.